This is a Christmas story that comes from Galloway in the southwest of Scotland and has a decidedly agricultural background, much like myself. The legend of the Yule Beggar is thought to date from the 1500s. According to Canmore, buried somewhere underneath this farm is St Ringan's well. St Ringan is another name for St Ninian, who's said to have founded the first church in Whithorn in the 5th century. Not that church, that's a later version. He's traditionally said to have kicked things off by preaching from his own cave near Whithorn. Not much is known about Ninian, and the records we do have are sketchy. Probably the most reliable are those written down by the Venerable Bede, a Northumbrian monk who wrote about Ninian in his Ecclesiastical History of the English People around the year 731. But that was nearly 300 years after Ninian's death. Ninian may or may not have been the son of a king, might have been a bishop educated in Rome, and possibly converted the southern Picts to Christianity. We'll never know. I told you it was patchy. The story goes that one Christmas Eve, somewhere near the market town of Castle Douglas, a shepherd went to a Yule fair, leaving his assistant in charge of his flock. It was a bitterly cold day, and the boss was away, so the boy spent most of his time in his hut, looking after the fire. But the shepherd's parting words had been a warning. He had to get the sheep in before nightfall in case they got lost. In those days, we still had wolves here, so wandering sheep were potentially dinner. The boy managed to gather up most of the flock and pen them in for the night, but one was still missing, and the light was starting to fade. After wandering for hours without any luck, he was just about to eat his dinner, kale brose, which sounds very 21st century, when he thought of St Ringan's well, which wasn't too far away. There was a tradition in Galloway that said St Ninian came back on Christmas Eve and that he revealed himself to shepherds and other hard-working people. He is also a patron saint of lost things. The boy realised he could leave his brose as an offering to St Ninian and hope for some kind of celestial guidance. It was a long shot, but it was all he had. So he placed his dinner by the side of the well and offered up a prayer, keeping one eye open just to make sure nothing too dodgy happened. Nothing dodgy happened. In fact, nothing at all happened. But he'd done what he could. As he gave up and walked away, he heard a noise behind him. He turned to see a ragged old man sitting on the side of the well, eating his dinner. He was about to protest, but then thought better of it. Far better that the old man got the use out of his dinner than having it go to waste because some saint didn't turn up. The old man nodded to him and said hello, and wasn't it a grand night? The boy said it wasn't for him and that he'd lost his boss's ewe. But the old man told him not to worry and that he'd find it in the brambles in the ditch beyond the willow trees. The boy shook his head. He'd been along the ditch twice already. Look again, the old man said. That's where you'll find her. The boy was doubtful, so the pair of them wandered down there, and sure enough, the sheep was in there, tangled in the thorns. But the boy couldn't get her loose, so the old man climbed down into the ditch and helped him. Together they managed to pull the sheep's wool free, but she was tired, and the boy couldn't carry her. He wasn't big enough or strong enough yet. He realised she was probably going to die where she lay. But the old man, despite his frailty, lifted the sheep and walked back to the hut, where they placed the ewe by the fire. The boy said he didn't have any food to offer the beggar, but told him he had a fire and he was welcome to stay for the night. The old man thanked him. It was a kind offer, but he was going to be late. Late? What for? The boy asked him. Where are you going? It's Christmas Eve, and it's nearly midnight. Bethlehem, of course, the old man said. Where else would I be tonight? The boy was picking up sticks, and he turned to look at the beggar, but he was gone. As he closed the door to his hut for the night, he saw a shining path headed east. I'm not sure that story is strictly legit. Merry Christmas.